right, so today I thought we would make some flavored herb salts. It is the last week of nice weather here, and so I had to get all the stuff out of my garden, and I love to do flavored salts. I kind of feel like with just dried herbs, I don't use them as much, but if I put them into a salt, they get used a lot more, and it also makes really great Christmas gifts. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I went out this morning and I picked this beautiful, beautiful basket full of herbs. I mean, it's so pretty, I have to say. My garden didn't do much this year, but my herbs did really good. And so today we're gonna be making 4 different types of salt, and I'm gonna show you how to do all 4 types of salts. It's really easy. I mean, all you need is your herbs that you wanna use, some salt, something to grind it up with, and some pans to put it in, and a jar once it's done. And then all you do is you grind this stuff up together, you put it in the oven, and then you dry everything out, let it cool, put it in a jar and seal. Super, super easy to make and very delicious to be able to use this all winter long. I'm not using any type of special salt. I just bought this salt in bulk. It's just plain white salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my oven on and let that get heating up. This goes really, really fast. You want your oven at about 250 degrees. We're gonna start with rosemary sage salt. It's my absolute favorite. I eat it on everything. You're just using salt, peppercorns, rosemary, and sage. And we're gonna start with using the rosemary. So I'm just gonna pull all these leaves off. So you just wanna pack your herbs down. Do one more little stalk here and that'll be good. And then I just kind of pick the leaves off and try not on the sage and try not to get the stems. The stems don't grind up as well. I'm not washing these. I just picked these out of my garden and brought them straight in. They're not dirty and we don't spray them with anything. But if your herbs were really dirty and you wanted to wash them before you get started, just lay them out on a towel and let them dry before you go ahead and start mixing everything with your salt. Okay, so now that we have that done, we're gonna go ahead and put everything into the blender. I like to add my salt first. That way these herbs don't get to the bottom and just clog the blender up. So I'm just gonna kind of layer this in there, some salt, some herbs. That way it blends good. Just don't lose track of the amount of salt you're putting in there. So a very, very large spoon. The boys made me some spoons while we were at elk camp. And I actually, every time that Clay takes the boys hunting or camping, they don't take spoons with them. And they, when they're out there, they have to whittle their own spoon. And they always bring me these beautiful spoons back. And so I have a lot of wooden spoons. Ooh, that smells good. Okay, and so now you're just gonna pour it out. All right, so now you have this really pretty, very, very strong smelling salt. It's very strong smelling right now because all the, it's wet. But once you dry this, it's not as potent as it smells right now. The most important thing now is just to get it dry when you put it in the oven. But you're gonna put this in the oven for 10 minutes because you don't want it to burn. And so put it on the top rack for 10 minutes, take it out, you're gonna stir it and put it back in there for another 10 minutes. And you're gonna do that until it gets completely dry. The timing just kind of depends on how much you have on your tray. All right, so our rosemary sage salt is ready. We're gonna go ahead and take it out. So it's not that bright green anymore and it's lost a lot of that really potent smell. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in the blender, a very dry blender, and we're gonna grind it up and then we're going to put it in a jar. And so you're not sealing this or anything, you're just putting a lid on it. Okay, so there we have our rosemary sage salt, and we'll go ahead and get some labels and put on here right now so I do not forget what I'm doing. All right, so this one here, we're gonna do a Tuscany herb salt. It's really good too. It's got lemon zest in it, so it's got like a citrusy taste to it too, and it's really good. For this one, you're gonna need salt, your sage leaves, rosemary leaves, thyme leaves. You're gonna use some lemon zest, garlic, and a red chili or some chili flakes. I'm gonna go ahead and start with our sage here. Rosemary. I love rosemary. It is so good. I picked all this out of my garden because it's getting ready to be done for the year. And I left the rosemary that's in my greenhouse because it will last until I leave for Florida. Okay, so we have that. And then we're going to do thyme leaves. Thyme leaves are kind of a pain in the butt to do because they're just so tiny. But we do have thyme here. I'm gonna do these little bitty leaves here, and I just strip them off. Out of this one's probably the longest one because it takes a long time to get a bunch of these thyme leaves.
Ooh, smells good.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite one right now is in the oven. The rosemary sage salt is in the oven. That's the one that you always put on things. We're gonna go ahead and zest the lemons. I don't use this super fine area here. I'm gonna go over here and just use this smaller one here because it's gonna be blended up anyways. I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic into this. Then we're going to do some red chilies here. Now we're just gonna do our salt again. We're just gonna go ahead and dump these out here. Yeah, this smells really good. It's really lemony. So I ended up not having enough lemon zest, and so I put the juice of 1.5 lemons in here too. So it's a little wetter, and so it's gonna take a little bit longer to dry. Go ahead and pop this one in the oven and let it start drying. This is the Tuscany herb salt. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here and start grinding this up. It made some really big balls in here. We're just gonna go ahead and start on the next salt. Our next salt I'm gonna do is a cilantro or a jalapeno cilantro salt. I do not have cilantro in my garden this year, so I did go buy some cilantro, but I have jalapenos, and so we're gonna go ahead and chop them up. Super easy. You chop up jalapenos, put your cilantro and your salt in the blender, blend it up, and put it on a tray and let it dry. Very, very easy. I am gonna give my peppers just a coarse little chop though. So you can make this as spicy or as not as spicy as you want it. I want mine medium spice. I'm not huge on the spice, but a medium spice would be good. And these smell really spicy. So I kind of feel like anytime you get a jalapeno from the grocery store, you're kind of getting like a glorified bell pepper. There's like really no spice to it. But homegrown peppers, on the other hand, will really burn you up. So we're going to be cautious around the bell peppers. Cautious around the jalapenos. I'm not gonna touch these with my hand. Let's just see how many I can lose all over the counter doing this. Okay, okie dokie. That, and we're gonna get our cilantro. I did wash this when I brought it home. I had a bunch of it, and so this has been washed already. Just gonna do just a bunch of cilantro in here, coarsely chopped, because I'm gonna blend it all up. I do stems and all for this, except the very ends. I don't do the very ends. Okay. And then we have our salts. It smells so good. We are ready to go on the, I'm losing track, on the cilantro jalapeno salt. So we're gonna blend this up and then stick it into the oven. Whew, that smells so good. My goodness. Ah, I love cilantro. That smells really, really good. This is ready, but I need a new pan. I don't have enough room. So this salt here is more pasty than the rest of them because the cilantro is really this, like, you know, wet, had lots of juice in it. I'm gonna go ahead and put our jalapeno salt on here. It's pretty thick, it's like a paste, so I'm just gonna spread it out on here. We're just gonna make a paste here and put it in the oven. And so it's starting to dry out now. So that just means we have one more salt that I want to do today, and that is celery salt. We're just gonna go ahead and put this straight into the blender, and so I'll put my salt in here, and then my celery. You're just using celery leaves for this. Okay, so. Okay, that's it. Oops, there's another piece. And then we're just going to put our celery salt on here, spread it out, and do the same thing. Very strong smelling. Okay. So I keep these herb salts in these big jars, and I just keep a small shaker in the house that's labeled. But other than that, these don't need to be refrigerated or anything. I mean, salt is a preservative, so it's not going to go bad. You just want to make sure that you dried it really well when you were drying them out, and then just put them kind of in a cool place or on a shelf. I mean, they don't need any kind of special treatment. You just don't want to leave them in like the hot sun or anything like that. All right, so there you have it. 4 different types of herb salts that I know you're going to use this winter. I will make sure that the 2 recipes that I have, that I put the link in the description so you can find those recipes, and I will put the 2 recipes of mine in the description as well. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope showing you how to make these herb salts give you some ideas what to do with those herbs that are in your garden. These are my favorite way to use herbs, and we use a lot of the salt throughout the year. I made a big batch today because I plan on giving these as some Christmas presents. I hope you're inspired. Get out, make you some salts, and I will see you on the next video.